Welcome back, modified family. We're out here, not at work at the moment. Still working, just none today. So trying to be productive. We're at home. It's not quite as hot as it has been, which is a huge improvement. And I missed you guys. So I thought today we would get caught up on some wagon projects, see what we can do. So we just gotta give me 5 on my black hand side and let's go. I feel like we know more about the pyramids than we do about what's going on with my wagon. It has been buried by the sands of time, but I am still working on it. As soon as I got home today, I had a project that I started that I needed to finish, and I was able to knock it out. Zero helped me for just a short minute. So this thing is ready to roll. Both front wheel bearings and hubs are done. The passenger side, the hub was still good. So when we changed the bearing, I put on the extended wheel studs. On the driver's side, the hub was so worn down that when I reinstalled it, it was still loose and making a little bit of noise. So I knocked it out, which, you know, bearings separate when you do that. And we were able to pull off that ring and put it back in and put it in. And now it's nice and tight and fitted. So the whole front end is ready to go. Things on the list that I'm really contemplating doing right now, but I don't know. Rack and pinion needs to be changed. I'm putting a B18 in here. And so I have Integra DA power steering pump and the line. So when that rack and pinion goes in, I'm going to switch those lines out because I think those are all connected. Right now I'm going to get inside, maybe clean it up a little bit because it's just been sitting. I miss this bad boy being on the road, going around looking so cool. And I need to change out the cluster. I need to change out the steering wheel. I need to change out the pedals because I'm going to need 3 pedals, not 2, for that new engine. So let's go inside. One of the many great features of the wagon is its great storage capability. I have the side skirts in here. I have a lot of the parts I need for my swap install, just sitting in here, happy. A few spider webs I need to clear out. I actually have side molding I found online that was very hard to find. Speaker pods, rear speaker pods. I ordered one set. I need like the bluish gray set, and they sent me a whole other set, so I'm super stoked on that. And I think that I just need to have my housemate design a metal bracket that goes behind the plastic, so it should mount right in here. Yeah, I'll figure that out when that time comes. New rack and pinion. This should be the one with all the ports for power steering. And we come in here. Had a really cool Hello Kitty sun visor to keep everything from being sun bleached. Well, that got destroyed by the sun, but the interior was protected. And then I had this grandma like dash cover, and that works very well at protecting my dash from cracking any further, and so it keeps it somewhat nice. And my seats are covered. I've never actually seen what these seats look like, but I do, I think, have replacements. But that automatic transmission is coming out, so a new pedal set needs to go in. So I'm going to see what that's like, which means I'm going to take all this crap apart. In the meantime, I'm going to take out my old gauge cluster, which looks like that. It has the tack and everything, but it also has the markings for the automatic transmission, so I know what gear I'm in. So I'm going to remove all that for hopefully something a little bit more sporty. And I love the basic vintage wheel, but I'm also going to pop this off today. This logo should pop right out, and the bolts right behind that are the nut, and this should slide right off. Hopefully it comes out smoothly. And then I'm going to clean up all this stuff that came from the sun visor, but it's moving right along. Let me show you some of those pieces that I'm going to put in here. Here are a few of those parts. New center console. I tried to get the same color. This one's definitely different from mine. I think it's the European one, so I'm just slightly different. Just want to be original, unique. This is the gauge cluster. It looks pretty much exactly the same, except for it does not have those markings in there, so I thought that'd be a quick, easy change. I also got some LED lights that I'm going to throw inside of there just to make it a little bit brighter. And I will open this up. I think I bought a Sharpie too, or a paint pen to just mark these orange a little bit. I'll get them clean because they're a little bit sun faded. Looks like they may have been repainted and faded, so I'm going to clean those up. This is my new pedal set. This is from I think it's from a DA, could be from another Civic, but I have this bracket, and what this is going to do is going to hold my clutch master cylinder. It's going to bolt right here, and it's going to connect to here. So I think I might want to get these two connected before I put it under there. That way only the clutch line has to be attached instead of me working upside down. It's a very tight space for me to fit my very large body into. Got this really cool Acura steering wheel. It should be the same splines, so it should slide on. So I'm gonna check that out once the other steering wheel's on. It'd be a pretty easy test fit because either it slides on or it doesn't, because cars all have different orientation, and most Hondas are pretty similar, but there are some differences. And for $1.99 at the Goodwill, I found this really cool grandma-esque Sears. I don't know what year this came out. I don't think it says, but it's a steering wheel cover. So just like you probably remembered your grandma having, and I think it's like rubber, vinyl, something like that. So the material is like a blue and a gray color. So I'm gonna cover this steering wheel because it was kind of expensive and I do want it to last and I do like the style, and I'm hoping this will be the right size. And the more grandma-esque I can make it, I think it's funny and I enjoy it. I don't really need this to be in place right at this exact moment. It seems like it's gonna fit. I just kind of nestled it in. Just needs a little bit more adjustment and it should slip under. It seems like it's the same size, but it definitely looks a lot cooler and it should be more secure because I think it also does screw in down here to this piece, which I'm also trying to take out at the moment because this all needs to come out for my 5-speed to go in. I have a cool shift knob, I have a cool shifter, all this stuff just going in for here. And then I also have an armrest that should fit between these seatbelt retractor things that are on this particular model of Civic wagon. So yeah, it's coming out really good. It's looking pretty good. I'm not gonna leave this in here at the moment. I'll pull it right back out because all this stuff can be out for the moment, but it's coming right along. And my Honda emblem broke. I got it out no problem, very carefully, then it split right down the middle. But I'm still gonna pull this out and see if the other steering wheel fits on here. I think that looks pretty darn good. It's not permanent. I just slipped it on to see if it would fit, and it feels like it slides right into those splines without any issue. I still have the nut in my hand, so obviously it's not on there. And the only thing that seems like somewhat of an issue is how close it is right here. So it does make it kind of close for like this, which is fine, you know, because this is not really for spirited driving. This is going to be a cruiser. That's why I'm keeping the power steering. I just want everything to be super smooth. So it is nice that all this stuff is very close to how I can use it. If I was driving aggressively, I would just probably punch these clean off. That's what happened when I tried to put a Prelude steering wheel, I think on my 93 hatch I used to have. It slid right on, but it made the steering wheel too close. But in here, I don't think it's going to bug me any because I'll just be open-handed cruising. And I want to get that wrap on here, maybe get a little suicide knob. I don't know, just something super vintage. But yeah, things are going good. I'm actually sweating to death, so this might be the end of the video. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, but you can see a lot of the projects I have in the works. There are so many things to be done on the wagon, and so it's just a project that's always going to be here. And I wanted to show you where I was at today and what I was getting back into. So I didn't get a lot done. Yeah, the center console piece should fit. And yes, the steering wheel should fit and should work just fine. But that's about all we got done today because I'm sweating. I'm dying out here. It's still too hot. But these are all things that need to get done. Waiting for the garage to be emptied out because some stuff still needs to be moved out of the way so I can install that lift that is on the side of the wagon and clear out the driveway. And then the wagon can sit on top of that because it's a pretty low profile one. And then engine bay painting, then engine goes in. So that's why it was so important that I finish the suspension so that like the rack and pinion and all that stuff is in before the motor goes in. And then the engine bay cleanup, painting, kind of shaving, just a little cleanup of everything and moving wires around will happen before the motor goes in. And then all the other little stuff, I mean, once the steering wheel is bolted back in, I can drive with the gauge cluster it has now. I could do a lot of things and just work on those as I have time. But because I have nothing else to do, I'm just getting done what I can get done. All right, Modified family, I will see you next time with something a lot more interesting than this, I promise.